Hello and welcome to Charlotte and Kate, and today we are doing a book haul. So I'm going to start it off with Scarlet, the second book in the Lunar Chronicles. I recently read the first book, Cinder, and I thought it was really awesome, and I pretty much read it lightning fast, so I picked up the second book because I want to continue the story, because it just started getting to the point where you're like, oh my gosh, I need to know what happens next. For those of you who don't know what the Lunar Chronicles are, they are fairy tale retellings. So the first one, Cinder, is a retelling of Cinderella, and then Scarlet is the retelling of Red Riding Hood. Set in the future, and there's cyborgs and science fiction stuff in it as well. It's pretty cool.
My first book is Across the Universe, which is a story about a girl called Amy who has left Earth and she's travelling to a planet that is about 300 years away.
Oh dear.
And the process of the story is that she has woken up 50 years early because someone has attempted to murder her. It kind of reminded me a bit of the film Passengers, where obviously the character is woken up early and it had that kind of vibe about it, and I really enjoyed the film, so I wanted to find, I just love books about space and I love space, so this just appeals to me instantly because it's about space, and as you can see by the front cover there's some romance going on. Because it says at the end here, it says, yet someone is waiting for her, he wanted to protect her, and more if she'll let him. So it sounds like it's going to be a bit of a saucy one. No, it just sounds like it's
50 Shades of Grey in space.
50 Shades of the Galaxy.
50 Shades of Gravity. Yeah, my next book is following Philia. I actually discovered this book because I applied to get the sequel for an advanced reader's copy on NetGalley, and it just totally sounded up my street because it follows a woman in Victorian England navigating the pre-Raphaelite art movement world, which, like, as me, it's one of my favourite art movements in the history of art. So instantly that was like, oh yes, I'm like,
sorry, my
so instantly I was like, oh yes, like I've never heard of a novel being in this time period, and it's a romance as well, and yeah, it just sounds quite interesting.
Next book is Made You Up. This book is about a girl who struggles between understanding what is real and what isn't. She sort of lives in a bit of a fantasy land and finds it difficult to distinguish between the two. And I must admit, I can relate to that wholeheartedly. I am a massive daydreamer to the point where I could be in the middle of a conversation and I just tune out, and I don't even do it on purpose, it just happens, and then I start imagining things. And there have been times where I've imagined conversations, I've seen things that are not real, I think I might need to go to a loony bin. But so when I saw this, I was like, oh my god, this is literally me in a novel. So I wanted to read it and find out whether it actually is me in the novel and what actually happens to this girl, because who knows what my fate might be as a daydreamer myself.
Next up, we've got the Travelling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa. So this is a Japanese novel, and it follows a man and his cat on a road trip, and it's told from the cat's point of view. And since reading The Salmon Who Dared to Leap Higher, I've actually become kind of fascinated about books from animal points of view, because it's just a totally different way of hearing a story being told. I am a cat, as yet I have no name, so like it's announcing that it's a cat.
Hello, I'm a cat.
Yeah, and I just love Japanese fiction, so this was just naturally something that ticked all the right boxes for me. Cats, animal point of view, and written by a Japanese author. Oh, apparently it's heartbreaking as well.
Oh no.
Heartbreaking Guardian. Please tell me the cat doesn't die. If the cat dies, then I will cry.
You're the one that I want. You're the One I Want is a story that is basically about a woman, and her inability to decide between her two best friends. The guy that she's meant to be marrying is Rob, but she's also interested in Ben. And Ben is the best man.
Oh no, really?
And I love stories where you kind of have this pull between two people, and I'm quite interested to see who she picks, or whether she doesn't pick either of them, because we were saying earlier that wouldn't it be totally unfair to pick one of them and break up the friendship, because apparently they've been friends. I'm talking as if they're real people. Apparently they've been friends since they were children, so surely that would completely shatter a friendship if she picked the other guy.
Yeah, if she picked the best friend, then husband's gonna be pissed.
So I'm quite interested to see what happens in this. I just love a good love triangle.
Yeah, love triangles are.
I mean, personally, I don't love them. They're annoying, but in movies and books, they're amazing.
My next book is Sweet Bean Paste by Durian Sukegawa. Another Japanese novel. The story follows Sentaro, who is a man who has had a bit of a shady past. So I think he's gone to prison. And he has his own doriyaki shop, which is pancakes filled with sweet bean paste, hence the title. And it just kind of follows his life as characters flow into it and change him. And I really love reading novels like this. Like, they're just like a little slice of life, and it just kind of makes you think, oh, this is like nice and warm and fuzzy, and just makes you feel good reading it.
Next up is Letters to the Lost. I got this one as an ebook, and I've actually read this one already. It is amazing. It's a story about two people who have lost someone very important in their lives, and they end up writing letters to each other in quite an interesting way, the way it sort of starts, but I won't spoil it. They find that they can express themselves through writing and sort of pour out all their emotion and anger over the loss of these people, whereas with their families and friends they're very closed off and they're not really sure how to deal with that grief, and it's a really heartwarming story.
My third and final international novel is a concise Chinese-English dictionary for lovers by Xiaolu Guo. So this follows a young Chinese immigrant as she moves to England, London to be specific, and struggles to learn the language and the culture that she's just kind of plopped into. That is just, I don't know how to say it, it's so different from her own. And from what I've heard about it is at the beginning of the novel she starts off in quite broken English in the writing, and then as the novel progresses so does her language. And she also meets a English gentleman as well. So
Darling.
it sounds quite interesting. I haven't actually read a novel by a Chinese author yet, so I'm quite intrigued by this. And this is also Xiaolu Guo's first English novel, so she's written in Chinese previously. It'd be quite interesting to follow the character's journey while you're actually literally reading it.
My next book is The Upside of Unrequited, and I spotted this and I thought, oh, I know how that feels. When you just have crushes and they never turn into anything, and you kind of see all your friends hooking up and it just makes you feel like poop. And that's exactly how the girl in this story is feeling. And I've actually just started reading this one, so I'm kind of intrigued to see where it goes. But basically she is in that sort of position where you kind of crush on boys but you don't have that courage to go and ask them out because you just don't think you're good looking enough, and you kind of feel inadequate next to all these pretty girls and everything like that. And she's got a lot going on in her life, so it'll be quite interesting to see whether she does finally have a boyfriend, because she's apparently had 26 crushes.
Whoa.
That's a lot of crushes. I'm not sure how many I've had. I'll have to like work this out. We can do a separate video.
100, darling.
Yeah, with all those Korean boy bands. But yeah, so it'll be really interesting to see whether number 27 is going to be a boyfriend or just another crush. Who knows? But I'm quite looking forward to finding out.
Next up, I have The Mad Scientist's Daughter, which is by Cassandra Rose Clark. The story follows Kat and Finn. Kat is a young girl, and Finn happens to be a robot. Dun,
Oh.
dun. Yes, and so he is her tutor. It says on the front, a tale of love, loss and robots, which appeals to me. I love robots. And
Okay.
no, like not like that, but just the whole premise of artificial intelligence, like something I find so
it creepy.
fascinating. And finally, Altered Carbon by Richard Morgan. So let me just tell you, I've already binge watched the first season on Netflix. Did that in 2 days. Woo. And it is phenomenal. Like, the world is just amazing. The technology in it, the storyline is just so intriguing. So I had to
Don't tell me too much because I'm in the middle of watching it. La, 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 la.
So I had to pick up the book because I just want to delve more into the universe. It's a trilogy, so I expect the first book to sort of follow the TV show, because I know that they've made some changes from the books to the TV show. I won't say anything. But yeah, I'm really intrigued by it. Yeah, and the character of Takeshi Kovacs is really interesting.
On to comics. This one is all about Harley Quinn. I love Harley Quinn, and I also love Poison Ivy. When we were younger, we used to watch loads of Batman cartoons, and one of our favourite episodes was one where Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy team up and take down men. Which is probably why I'm a bit of a feminist now, because we had all these cartoons of these really strong, powerful women. So in this story, Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn have teamed up, and they are trying to start over in a new city called Metropolis, where they all meet Superman. I've kind of flipped through and saw him flying through the sky. I'm not quite sure what they've done to annoy Superman, but I sure as hell wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of Superman, although he is very
Henry
handsome.
Cavill.
Henry Cavill is a beautiful man. And my other comic, this one is also equally exciting. I discovered The Dreamer, oh my goodness, a couple of years ago online. I don't even know how. I just found it and I got hooked on it. It's amazing. It's basically about a girl called Beatrice who dreams, every time she goes to sleep, she dreams of a soldier from the Revolutionary War called Alan Warren. And every time she goes to sleep, she dreams of him and they go off on romantic escapades, and it's just beautiful. The drawings are beautiful. The story is amazing. I love it. It reminds me of Outlander, and as everyone knows, I am a huge Outlander fan to the point where it's slightly weird. Jamie Fraser is bae. I know there's no guys running around in kilts, but it is period, and period costumes. Men in period costumes is a
That's
yes.
her thing.
Men in tights, yes. I'm such a weirdo. But it is honestly one of the best things I've ever read. I absolutely love it. I could not recommend it enough, and I'm so glad to finally have it as a actual comic that I can hold in my hands. So they were the books that we purchased. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content from us, then please like and subscribe to our channel. See you soon. Goodbye.